Hi guys, in previous UpGo videos we talked about the fish factors, those 4 things that if you see any of them, bad behavior that is frequent, has intent to harm, is severe, or is harmful, it triggers you to start the APA process, which is to assess the situation, plan, and then act. It's time now in this video to look at the P in the APA, the plan. How do we put together a plan that would get the bullying to stop? To do a plan, you lay out all the actions you could take, and then you figure out which option is probably best. With bullying, there are a lot of actions you might take to try to get it to stop. So to make them easy to remember, we'll discuss these options using the UpGo Bullying Peace Plan. The 5 letters in peace represent the 5 main actions we can consider, and we'll look at several other actions sprinkled in within those 5. The P stands for partner. Partner with someone to help. The E is for empathize. The A is for ask them to stop. The C is for command them to stop, demand it. And the E is for escalate to authorities. Let's go through each one in a bit more detail. The P. The first thing you want to do when you think you or a friend is being bullied is to partner with someone. Ask someone to help. This is absolutely critical if you think you or someone else is in danger, or if you're feeling hopeless or really down. In those cases, forget all this bully fish and peace plan stuff and just contact someone on the screen right away, okay? Now, even if you're not in crisis, you still want to partner with someone. It might be as simple as asking your friend, hey, I think I'm being bullied. Can you help me figure this out? Or ask a trusted adult. Watch the other UpGo video for more information on who to ask and how. All right, hopefully you have partnered with someone to help. It's time to consider the E in the peace plan, to empathize. Empathize with the bully. This is the hardest of all the options. To empathize, to try to put yourself in the head and the heart to feel what they are feeling can be very difficult. It takes a lot of maturity, but it's a big key to understanding why the person is doing what they're doing. Remember the previous video when we were doing the A part in the APA process, the assess the situation, we looked at why people bully, and we discussed the phrase that hurt people hurt people. Go back to review that part because empathizing can be a powerful tool to stop the bullying behavior. To put your feelings aside and to think of the other person who appears to be trying to hurt you requires a pretty high level of emotional intelligence. And frankly, most adults, let alone students, often don't have the maturity to empathize with the other person when we're feeling attacked. But if you're in a good place mentally and you can realize that their attack is really not about you, it's about their issues, that opens you up to some pretty cool techniques that can help you deal with the bullying. One option is to dismiss it. Just ignore it as if it were never said. Another option is to deflect or distract. They bully and you steer the conversation to something else. Another option, if you're in a good mental state, is to concur with the bully, agree with them. That person calls you a 4-eyed midget and you respond, I know, right? These glasses are the worst and I can barely reach my locker. Another option is to compliment them. They say, you're a loser, and you reply, thanks. By the way, I think you did a really good job in the game on Friday. Do you see how these responses might surprise the person doing the bullying? They expected you to defend yourself or to counterattack or to get mad or sad. And instead, you dismissed or deflected or concurred or complimented. And the bullying may reduce or stop because that person is not getting what they need or want from you. Here's another option for responding, and it's a biggie. If you're in a good mental state, consider responding with compassion and curiosity. If you're able to empathize, you might be able to respond to their angry, hateful text with something like, you sound angry, what's up? And they might respond, darn right I'm angry, you embarrassed me the other day. Or, yeah, I'm angry, I had a bad morning at home. Now you've uncovered something about their true hurt. Knowing this, you might be able to address the situation better. I want to repeat that this empathize part of the peace plan is the most difficult, but perhaps the most powerful anti-bullying technique. Go back and watch again the APA process video where we talked about the assessment and why bullies bully. Sometimes approaching them with some curiosity and compassion can have tremendous results. But if you're not in a place to empathize or in your assessment, you don't think it will be effective, you need to use another option. So consider the A in the peace plan. Ask them to stop. It sounds simple, but there are some subtleties. If you make your ask like many people do, it probably won't go well. Most people would start off with the word you, like you embarrassed me, or your text was so mean. From the other person's perspective, you just accuse them of something, and they'll likely react defensively by saying, "No, I didn't. My text wasn't mean." To help avoid that defensiveness, alter your delivery slightly. Instead of saying, "You did this to me," say, "I felt blank," and name the emotion. I felt embarrassed, hurt, or belittled by your text. That other person can't really argue the point because it's your feeling. Do you see the subtle change there? And how "I felt hurt" is usually better than "you hurt me"? If you want more communication tips, Google active listening or reflective listening or XYZ statements. They're great ways to resolve conflicts or communicate a hurt. Also in the category of asking the bully to stop is using a group ask, getting your friends to ask too. It's like a positive use of peer pressure. This can be tricky to pull off, but if multiple students say to the bully, "Hey, that's not cool, take it down and tell everyone you didn't mean it," that kind of pressure might get the behavior to stop. If the bully is doing it because they seek attention or approval of their peers, then their classmates telling them, "We don't approve," can be effective. But be careful with this tactic because you're involving more people, and people are unpredictable, and things could spin out of control or provoke the bully to do worse. So we just covered several ways you might ask them to stop. By the way, your ask will have a greater chance of working if you time it right. Like, don't ask them when they're angry or in a weird place emotionally. Also, consider taking your partner with you, the one that is helping you, when you ask them to stop. All right, that wraps up the A in the peace plan. Ask them to stop. Now, let's assume asking doesn't work. Or maybe your situation assessment calls for a more forceful approach. You might use the C in the peace plan. Command them to stop. Demand it. Basically, you're going to let them know that if they don't stop, you're going to report them. It's a warning or a threat. You know, threatening someone with physical harm is illegal, but threatening to report someone who is doing something wrong is completely within your rights. You might say, "You know, what you're doing seems to fit the definition of bullying, which is against the school rules and probably the law, and it can get you suspended or expelled or arrested. This stops now. Stop harassing me or I will report you." You might also say, "By the way, during the investigation, they're going to confiscate your phone." That may get their attention even more than being suspended. Another option is the demand could come from one parent to another. Maybe your mom shows the person that did the bullying's mom the communication, and the other mom hopefully will be shocked and empathetic and take action with their child. Or the demand for the bullying to stop might come from one dad to another dad, where the dad says something like, "You really need to get your kid to stop this behavior or we'll be forced to escalate things, to report it to school authorities or the police." Commanding someone else to do or to stop doing something is not a great situation. But if nothing else is working, or if the situation is serious, sometimes you gotta tell them in no uncertain terms, knock it off. And by the way, this one parent talking to another parent idea, it's risky because many parents are so defensive of their child and they can't conceive of them doing anything wrong. But it can work if everyone's level-headed. Okay, let's ramp up the seriousness even more. Escalate to authorities. Escalate is a common term used to describe when someone refers a situation upward in the authority structure. Like if you're getting poor service at a restaurant, you might say, "Can I talk to the manager, please?" You've just done an escalation. As we discussed in another video, before getting the school employees or police involved, the preference is usually to first turn to parents or other trusted adults, because notifying the authorities often starts a domino effect that is out of your control, and sometimes the results are different than what we would have intended. Nonetheless, if the situation warrants it, by all means, get the authorities involved. All right, I know we covered a lot of info there. Can you give me just 10 more seconds? What's PEACE stand for? What are the 5 ways to get bullying to stop? P is for partner with someone. The E, empathize. The A, ask them to stop. The C, command them to stop. And the E, escalate to authorities. Hey, great job. Thanks for thinking about this stuff and for making good decisions.